One of the biggest problems that you're going to face when you're trying to monetize your skill set is deciding exactly what to sell. Now, this gets very frustrating when you have a skill set, you know exactly what you're extremely good at, but you just don't know how to put that skill set into a product. But in today's video, I'm going to be helping you solve all of that because today I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 product types that exist out there so that you can decide which one best fits your lifestyle. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adeyinka and I help working professionals monetize their skill set and build a 6-figure business without them having to quit their jobs. Now let's get started with today's deal. Now, when it comes to monetizing your skill set, it's super important that you understand how you intend to deliver it to your audience. And I learned this the hard way when I monetized my first skill set because I went the whole 9 years when it came to monetizing. And I soon got overwhelmed because I had a lot of things that were going on. Besides having a regular job, I also have multiple businesses. I also have a family. I also have different things that I love to do. I also love to teach. And then I have YouTube on top of it where I have to make out the time to research, record, edit, post, and the whole 9 years. And so my life was so busy. And on top of that, having to monetize my skill set and delivering it in all possible ways made me overwhelmed rather quickly. And rather than me enjoying the entire process, I ate it in and I wanted to get out of it real quick. So now that I'm monetizing my skill set all over again, I don't want you to make the same mistake because I'm definitely not making that same mistake. I know exactly where I am at this point in my life. I know how to take things rather easy so that I'm able to enjoy the process and not get overwhelmed anymore. And so for you who it might be the first time that you're monetizing, it's important that you understand the ways you can monetize and how you can productize your skill set so that you think through your lifestyle and figure out the one that best fits you. Now, let's get right into it. Now, the very first product type is digital product. Now, a digital product is anything that your audience or your customer can download online, right? Now, when you think about digital downloads, I want you to think about templates. I want you to think about PDFs. I want you to think about checklists, something that explains a situation to people. And, people can just go through that material and understand exactly what they need to do and follow the steps. And so for you to be able to create a digital download, you'd have figured out, what the end product is. Where do you want your customer to be at the end of, the life cycle, and what are the things that they need to do in order to help them get there. All of that process is super important. And as long as you're able to do that through a digital download, then you can go ahead and do that. Now, a digital download is usually a self-service, which means that, your client is just going to go to probably a website or a web page, read through the information, click, buy that product. It gets downloaded into their phone or their computer, and that's it. That relationship is kind of ended for that particular product because now you've given them everything that they need. Now, this type of product is very useful and important to those that are extremely busy, those that are not available to provide support, right, for the product. And so maybe you don't have the time to be able to attend to your clients and after service. And all of this is super important when you're actually creating your product, because if you know that you're not going to be able to provide, day-to-day support, then you need to build your product in such a way that allows you to achieve that without the client or the customer feeling, like they didn't get the value for what they paid for or that kind of stuff. But digital product is super important and very beneficial to people that are extremely busy. And for me, I am going to be kicking off my paid product with digital product. And that's because I'm in a space where I have multiple businesses. Last week was so overwhelming. I had so much on my plate that I barely had time for myself. I felt like I even actually fell sick in the process of trying to resolve a very big deal that happened to one of my businesses. And so it gets really overwhelming quickly when you have a lot on your plate, and then you have to still provide day-to-day support or one-on-one coaching, then you have appointments that you have to keep. Because remember that once they become paid customers, you are obliged to serve them, right? So you can't say, oh, I don't feel like, right? You have to deal with it. And so it's very important that you look at your lifestyle and kind of figure out what kind of product fits my lifestyle and then deliver it that way. So I will be going with digital products as a start. And as maybe life gets easier for me, and then I'll figure out if I need to further explore all the other options that are possible. Now, the second type of product that you can create from your skill set is a mini course or a training. And that could be in form of a workshop. Let's say it's a 1-day workshop, a 2-day workshop, a 3-day workshop, or some type of training. Now, you need to remember that if you're going to be going that route, you need to make up the time, not just for the curriculum and the modules, but you also have to make out time to deliver that actual workshop or training. So this is going to need more of your time, right? People are going to have to sign up. There's going to have to be a particular day that people are going to have to come, a particular time. You're going to figure out whether is this going to be virtual? Are you trying to make this face-to-face? So these are the options that you are going to need to consider. And that's why I say that your lifestyle is super important, because if you're extremely busy or you can't even make time for yourself, how are you going to fulfill that obligation? Now, imagine you now make that face-to-face. You then have to get a venue, make sure that you get the right audience for that venue. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting money for renting, right? Or if you decide to make it virtual, you do a Zoom thing. You still want to make sure that that time works with your audience. You want to make sure that it also works with you. There is no emergency that will help you or make you, postpone that training or that workshop. So a lot goes into it. And now some people have the time to be able to do workshop and training and all that 9 yards. And if you believe that your lifestyle fits that purpose, then you can definitely go for it. But you have to take your time to understand your lifestyle, understand your schedule, understand what you can give repeatedly before you decide the type of product type option that you want to go for. Now, the next type is coaching, right? And this could be either one-on-one or group coaching. This is also very similar to the mini trainings and mini workshops. But the only difference is that, when it's coaching, sometimes it could be 10-week coaching, 12-week coaching. It's a much longer period than a workshop, right? A workshop could be 1 day, 2 days, back to back, and you're done with it. Now, if it's a one-on-one coaching or a group coaching, that could be a longer period of time. It could be, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. This needs more of your time. You need to be consistent. You have to decide, okay, every Saturday, I have to show up at this particular time. Or let's say you're trying to have it on the day of the week, every evening at this particular time, on this particular day, I've got to meet with my students. And I've done all of this in the past. So I know what I'm talking about, right? I used to have a one-on-one coaching session. I used to have it every Wednesday at 7 p.m. CST time. And after a while, I was tired because sometimes I'll be done from work and then I would need to catch a break. And before you know it, it's time for me to hop on the class and go train and, kind of figure out where my students are, what are they up to? What did they achieve that week? Because I was doing group coaching at that time. But it started with one-on-one. And after a while, when I didn't have enough time slot anymore, I had to kind of move into group coaching. And even after a while, even that time for group coaching became a thing. And that's why it's very important that you decide upfront what you want to do. And there's nothing wrong in you changing things as you grow. But one thing I've known is whatever is what doing well. You don't want to do things halfway. You don't want to get to a stage where you can't keep up. And right now we're just growing. So even before you explode and become very successful, if you can't keep up with the schedule that you created for yourself, then it becomes a problem. And that's why it's extremely important that you figure out your life, figure out your schedule. What can I do consistently for the next 3 years? Right? I think that's a bigger way to look at it, because when you look at it that way, then it allows you to stay consistent, and then you've kind of figured it out into your schedule and it can work. And when I look at my life right now, I don't even know what tomorrow looks like, right? I can't even really plan my day besides like the early hours of my day. So no, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start with what I know I can give, which is digital products. I'm going to do all of the work up front, make sure that everything they need for them to be transformed, they get that is self-service. And then I can then move as time allows for me to kind of go through that product options and figure out what else I could be doing with my time. Now, another fantastic one is ebooks and guides. And that's something else I'm going to be doing, because basically for me, I've learned, the hard way. And so I know that I'm going to be doing anything that I'm going to have to invest, upfront to be able to do the work. And once that work is done and once I kind of deliver into the world, right, it sells itself, it serves itself. I've launched 2 books that are on Amazon. So I've kind of like done that before. And I know it's a lot of work upfront, but I mean, once it's done and it's just kind of rides itself. And, Amazon does the work for me where, I just kind of go check update. Oh, how many copies did I sell today or this week or this month? And so ebooks or guides is also something else that you can do if you feel like you don't have so much time, but you just want to get started with this process of monetizing your skill set and turning into a product. Ebook is the first product you could probably think about because, hey, you do all the work, you put it out there and it starts to sell itself. Obviously, you still got to do marketing to ensure that people are aware that it exists, but then you've done all of that, main work up front, and whoever gets to pick or buy your product would not be needing anything else from you, except they want to maybe buy something else within your chain of products if you have multiple, right? But ebooks, perfect. Guides, perfect. For the busy professionals, and I know that many of us are busy. Many of us have not just our career, many of us also have a family, or we just have hobbies or other commitments that might not allow us to be able to be fully present. And so these are some of the ways that you can still monetize your skill set and turn into a product, and it still works perfectly for you. Now, while there might be many out there, I want to focus our attention on these 3. And it's important because I also don't want us to get overwhelmed. Many of us are new to this process. So these 3 product types are definitely options that you can start with. But more importantly, I want you to ask yourself certain questions, right? Just the same way I ask myself these questions in terms of like, I'm a working professional. I have multiple businesses. I have multiple side things that I do. I have like 2 YouTube channels that I'm trying to work on and grow. I have so many things that kind of take my time. And so given all of that factor, I figured out that working on a digital product will be my best choice at this point in time. And so I want you to ask yourself, similar questions. I ask myself, do I want to show up live or not? At this time, I don't want to show up live. Right now, I think I'm giving my all to my YouTube and my videos. And I don't think I have the energy to show up after all of this. So I don't want to show up live. I want to pre-record or just do something that will be ready beforehand, and then I'll be able to kind of share it with the world. The second question I ask myself is, do I have more time or more knowledge to offer? What's the fastest way I can help someone get a result? Now, this is very crucial because I know that there are multiple ways I can help people get results. Like I said, in my previous life of monetizing my skill set, I explored every way. I built a community, had a course, I had ebooks, I had guides, I had templates, I had mini courses. There was a time I used to run mini course every Saturday. And then I had one-on-one coaching on Monday evenings. Then later it migrated to group coaching on Wednesdays. And then I had my community on Thursday evenings. Like every day was busy. And then I still had businesses I had to figure out. It was so chaotic. It was great. Money was coming in good, but it was not sustainable. And that's another question you want to ask yourself. Whatever I'm going to decide right now, is it going to be sustainable? Can I sustain it? And is it scalable quickly? And these are some of the questions that I asked myself that helped me make the decision that my first course of action will be digital products, because I'm able to quickly help someone transform their life through that process. And so that's the direction that I am going. Now, I hope that this video actually gives you ideas in terms of like your own direction, what direction you want to take, what type of product you want to deliver, and how you intend to monetize your skill set. So I hope that you are in a much better space. You're no longer stuck and you know exactly what to do going forward. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure that you share with your friends. And if you are just coming across, my entire video and you're trying to monetize your skill set and you're trying to look for a guide, I have a free guide for you. So click the link of this video and you're going to find a guide that's going to help you, in terms of how to monetize what you know. And the best part, it is free just for you. All right, guys, thank you very much for spending another time with me in today's video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.